Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're back again for day 6. We're starting to work on our trading bot again, the Trade Me Up bot. If this is the first time you're here, basically what we're doing is creating a trading bot live. We'll be going through start to finish using a C# programming language, and we're going to connect up to the Alpaca Markets API to be able to do some live trading, hopefully, at one point. I'm going to start off with paper trading, but we'll see how it goes with live trading if everything goes well with paper money. So we'll jump right into it. Yesterday, we were working on the strategy framework, and we got, I would say, pretty far in that. We ended up just implementing a basic strategy for what we're going to call Tesla swing trading. That's just where we're going to start, and hopefully we can add more as we go along. But at this point, outside of the basic strategy framework, we actually need to have some sort of indicators that we can go off of to start seeing the moving averages and rate of change for the Tesla stock, so we can actually make decisions on whether we're going to buy or sell, for that day or that minute. So to get that going, I'll probably want to just start adding an indicators folder here. And we'll need like a base indicator that kind of defines what a indicator is. So in my mind, what an indicator actually is a collection of data points that have a date and time attached to it, as well as a value. So the value could be with stock quotes and trade quotes. Basically, there's a aggregate period. So you'll have, say, a minute aggregate. That's what the streaming aggregate is going to be initially. It's a data point that is a aggregate over a minute. So it's a consolidated. So every second there's a data point that or I'm pretty sure there might even be tick. So every tick, whatever that is, according to the stock market time frame, or whenever Polygon's sending us the data, the tick is going to be, say the first tick is, $35. Second tick is like $35.01. Then it goes down to $34.99. Basically like that. And over a period of time, that aggregate will be averaged up to the minute point, and then the data point will be sent off. So that's what we're receiving. So that's what I think of when we're thinking of indicators. It's data points with time frames over a period of time. What we're going to be working off for our swing trading is probably just daily indicators to start. So we'll have probably a period of time, I would say, like, I think there's a typical one of 20 days or 18 days for a moving average, and there's even the 50-day moving average that a lot of traders use and watch to make decisions on the direction of a price on a stock. So we'll probably be using one of those, or all those, or multiples of those. I haven't really figured out which strategy I want to go with yet, but I do know that we need these aggregate points. So on top of that, an indicator may have a fixed window. So as I was mentioning, we're going to have daily points. So it would be a fixed window of points up to 20, 18, 50, whatever we specify as the period. And then we have to select the data point as well, like the actual price value. So it's either going to be the open, high, low, close. So we'll call those different fields, or so I don't know what they call them here. So let's see, they have averages and they have a aggregate base, I'm pretty sure. So these are the different data points I was talking about for the price levels on a stock. So open, high, low, close. They also have volumes. That might be something good to track as well. Average volume for a period, and then the number of items in the window. So you can think of it as a sliding window. As the date value increases, so does the data point closest, or the most recent one, and the last one would drop off if it's outside of the sliding window. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's essentially what we're going to try to create programming wise. So let's just add a base indicator, and we'll start defining that indicator, that sliding window, I guess. So, and this should be abstract. So abstract, so we have to inherit it. And what we want here is a queue or rolling window. Just kind of detailing out what I want this thing to have. And then we have to have some way to update this indicator, so probably like a update method. I guess we can't make this abstract because this would probably be the same for all the indicators. So probably do that async and wait for it or not. So I guess we need to figure out how to implement this rolling window. I don't think there's something built into C#. I'm going to quickly Google to find out. See if there's like a fixed size queue or like a rolling list, fixed size list. Array list. Oh, there is something in an array list. So how would you use that? So I'll just pull it up here what I'm looking at. So how would I actually use this? And is this what I want? So wrap it around an array list. So we add a whole bunch of items, fixed size. Sort is allowed. Let's see what the output is. Okay, that's not what we want. So that's going to be throwing exceptions. We don't necessarily want that. I think we're going to have to just have a custom object here. Maybe a dictionary, right? Fixed size dictionary. Is there something like that? Right? And have the date time as the unique value, potentially. Let's see. It may have to be, I guess it shouldn't have to be concurrent. Yeah, let's just make one. So we have a models here, so we're going to just add class, fixed size, let's just say Q for now. And public class, we're going to have a private Q. Let's see. And we can have a object of, oh, it's not a bad idea. Okay, so we just do T, Q, oops. Public Q. Size. Right? And no, I guess it doesn't need this. No, wrong constructor. All right, so our Q is going to be a new Q, right? And then size equals size, right? And then public NQ T item. So basically we're going to say if it is greater than right? So we're going to enqueue that. If q.count is greater than size, we will drop one off. Count. And we don't need the value to return. Oh, you don't need. Okay, so it just returns it, but we're just going to throw it away. Not really necessary either. Okay, so I think that'll give us basically a fixed size queue in the simplest of terms. I guess we can have a count. Oops, count. We'll just return. Do we need anything else? Oh yeah, we'll probably need to be able to get the first, last, and enumerator. So we can loop through those. Basically, we're creating a wrapper around a queue that dequeues on a full list based off the initialized sized. So public first yeah, this should do exactly what we need. Let's get a couple of these going. Last. Yep. Okay, enumerator. And just exposing some of these that I think are very useful later on. If we ever need to do a conversion, we can do that. Oops. And okay, So I think we can use that now here. So we will have a private fixed size q I aggregate. So I do know when we request data from the Polygon client, it returns a I aggregate, which is a time value with a base of these values. So that should be perfect. We're just going to call this q. Private read only. No, in the constructor. Size. We need a pass size. And then we call that period. So this is our period for the indicator. And that should be the size of our fixed size q. Okay. So let's see. What else do we need for this? So we need to be able to know if we're going to select from this aggregate, right? Which data point we're going to be queuing off of. And that might even be selected by the individual implementations. So we'll need a field. Okay. So I don't have an enums, do I? I just threw it there. Oh, I'm sorry, interface. I don't have enums either. Let's create folders here. Interfaces. And enums. Interfaces. Oops. Wrong folder. What does that do to these? Doesn't do anything to that. Oh, it's because the should be under interfaces. So that should screw a whole bunch of things up here. Yep. It's alright, we'll just go back and fix all that real quick. And probably, there it should tell us. Doesn't know what that is. Now it does. Can be removed as a value. It's never read. Oh, well, we haven't used it yet. Okay, so we move that. And we also need a field. So basically I'm going to create a field or an object that represents the I aggregate. And we might actually just be able to use the iAg base now that I'm thinking about it. Or was that this thing? What does this actually have? We don't want items in window as part of a selection field. right? Because these are actually properties. Yeah, we want an enum. So we'll do open. We're just going to basically copy that. High, low, close, volume. Right, so these are the different values that we can use for our rolling window. So one day it'll be, tracking the close, the next day it'll track the close again, the close after that. So we'll be using the same field in our indicators. So that way we could determine like a average or rate of change or whatever the actual indicator is. So we need to provide that. I'll just probably do default close. Okay. And we should expose that. We'll just set it here. Okay. What else do we need? We need to know which ticker this is for. Right, so we need to be setting that. We will also need the resolution or the period that we're going to be using to aggregate. So I do know that Alpaca Markets provides a aggregation period object. Pretty sure it's just aggregation period. Yeah. Right. So what is that exactly? That is just a aggregation period unit and a value. Okay, so this is where you get into minute, hour, day, week, month, quarter, year. So we will probably be using minute, hour, day. Doubt we'll ever be using week, month, quarter, year, but we can just provide that as an option. So we will force them to provide it, or whoever's calling it or creating a indicator, and then we'll just save the value, same as we're doing these. So we can call that later when we make a request for the data set from Polygon. And that should go here, right? And we should also be saving the period. Right, okay. So now we have all of that. And I guess we do want to abstract this, right? Because we're going to have a, So with the indicator, we want to be able to return the current value. So if it's a moving average, say, the first day it's 1, 5. These are just price points, right? So say the price was $1 the first price point, or the first indicator period, then 5, then 3, then 4. So to get a moving average, you add those up and then divide by the total. So that's 14 divided by 4. So our value for this indicator would currently be on the current day 3.5. So we would want to be able to implement what the indicator value is, right? So that would be for a moving average. For a rate of change, we would want to calculate the percentage increase from the first point to the last point, or the most recent point. So we would want to force the value to be implemented with abstract. I think it should be decimal, actually, because some of these will be based off of prices, or most of them will actually. Some percentages, which still can be represented with a decimal value. And we need to be setting this. Right. And aggregation period. Field value is going to be created. Update. We will come back to that. That's basically going to connect to Polygon and pull data points for the specified period and aggregate period. And then we can load them into our queue. And then we can update them as we go along. So as time increases, we would have to continuously update these so they're not static. When we have a new data point, we would want to update that. And what I was thinking, probably, since we have a scheduler, we'll probably just add a job here that, does daily, hourly, minute updates. And I may even want to recreate this aggregation period. Just because this unit, we're not using week, month, quarter, year. Maybe I can just check it to see if the unit's greater than 2 and throw an exception. Greater than 2, right? Throw. You're not yet implemented. Would allow it. Okay, and we should also check period, right? Period less than 1. Oh, it can supply a message. Okay, so that's just creating some bounds checking there. Make sure that we have a correct period and aggregation period unit that we can support. So currently support. And actually, let's just say equals. And that was spelled wrong anyways. So let's just do that for now. To do add supports for other aggregation period unit values. Okay, so now we got that as a to-do. Again, just trying to keep this pretty basic initially. Once we get it trading, we can start adding complexity and features to it. The important part is that we can actually make some trades and make decisions based off of data coming in. So that's looking pretty good actually. See, may want to implement the update now. And if it's async and we want to wait on it. So we're going to need a queuing system for these. So if we have like, I don't know, 1,000 indicators that we're tracking, and then on the daily, say at like 2 a.m., 1 a.m. is kind of what I'm thinking, we go to update 1,000 indicators. Basically, we're currently going to throw 1,000 requests at Polygon servers. So what we might be able to do is register an indicator as we create it, and then our job will pull through those 200 at a time, wait till they finish. Yeah, maybe we can do like a parallel for each and wait till they finish. Or we can take 200 from the list and I like the parallel for each. That might work. We can do 200 requests at once, or maybe 50 at once. Kind of keep their, it shouldn't take too long for requests. We're just pinging their server for some data. It should get back pretty quick. So we should get through a list of like, 1,000 or so pretty quickly. And let me think about that for a minute. That shouldn't take away from the implementation of this. This will still be the same no matter how we queue it up. We're also going to need a request queuing system for Alpaca servers. So I might want a framework in general that just handles some type of queue where we have a bunch of requests that we want to make and some timer or job kicks off and tries to fire off any remaining requests that are in that list. I guess we also want to know if we are currently ready. So say we update and we don't have enough data points. We would want to know if the indicator is ready based off of the queue size versus the count. So public bool, let's call it is ready. Queue size equals queue count, right? So basically we can see, is my indicator ready to use? If it's not, we shouldn't be using it, because if the intended size is, for instance, 20 and we have 10 data points, well, that average for moving, or that whatever the value is, or the expected value would not be correct, because it doesn't have enough data points to make a determination. And that would also affect the update, I believe. So if we're going to update and we're making a request to the server, say we have, the last 19 data points, or we have 20 and we're full, and we just want to get the next one in line for the next day or next hour or next minute, we would probably want to only request one item. We're only supporting day at the moment. All right, so how does this work? Just referencing the Polygon data client. So we would want to specify so if we're ready, we only need one else. We need all, right? We should try to update all until we're ready. Period minus Q count, maybe? Or if we're partial, maybe something went wrong and we should just re-up the entire queue. So this is a Aggregates Request. That takes the aggregation period and a symbol. Aggregates request, symbol, period, right? And then what does this thing have? Oops, I need the actual. Okay, so it has a date from and a date into. So this is going to be, since we're doing the days, it should be X amount of days back that we want to get a value for. Time with interval. Okay. So we need to specify a from date set that. Deprecated. Time interval from. Get inclusive from that. Time interval. Oh, maybe it's on the aggregate request time from. Can we set that value? You can only get it. So how do we set that? Set time interval. Request. So you can do it from a request. Okay. Oh, set inclusive time interval. Okay. So that should do it. That's the wrong period, but that's how we want to do it. And then, so this is the list of history items. Can we access our Polygon data client? It's under Run Manager, right? Run Manager, Polygon, Data Client, List, Aggregate, Async, Exchanges, Quotes, Trades. We want an aggregate. Async, right? Yeah. And then our aggregate request. And then we would want to add those. What is this? History items. Adjusted items, query count. Results, count, status, symbol. Okay, those are the aggregates that we want. Q.enqueue item. I'll just call that aggregate. Okay. The only thing that we're missing is getting this period. So can we do subtract, right, period? So that's going to do now.day. Date, right, just the date. Subtract date time. Subtract time span. Got from days. But with that, that's gonna give us weekends as well, which we wouldn't have any data points, which means that when we request the data, it'll be returned with incorrect data. We won't have enough items because we're including weekends. So how do we subtract from today, not including weekends, or only from the trading calendar? Because I believe there's an item for trading calendar here. Trading client. Get list maybe. List calendar async, right? What does this do? It gives us the calendar. That's exactly what we want. And it's a calendar request. There's actually a calendar request too. So it's a calendar request. So you can set a time interval as well. So do we just initialize a new object? Let's see. I'm guessing we do. They must have took it out. So I have a reference for ListAll calendar async. And that is no longer there. So what does this actually do? Positions, orders, this calendar async. Do I have to specify a time frame? Checking their docs. So I'm using the SDK for Alpaca. They provide their own wrapper for their framework, so I'm just looking on their page right now. So in here, we're going to search for that, right? I wonder if this still shows up. List all calendar async. So it just exposes new calendar requests. That's the same thing. I wonder why they took that out. This message will be removed in the next major release. List all, so they removed all the list alls. So they just want I wonder why they removed those wrappers. Probably want to force people to not ping their server for so much data. But we still want all of it, so we are going to do that, and we're actually going to update along with our clock. Internal static read-only list calendars. And there are two iCalendars. Oh, there's a quartzite calendar. Using iCalendar. Okay. So we need to set that in our job. I mean, we're doing this on the minutes. We don't need that. We should just update the calendar daily. When should we actually update the calendar? Once? Or when we need it? I don't think the calendar is going to change more than a daily. So let's do a class, daily, job. Try job. So we can do daily operations here, I suppose. Anything we want to. Right now all we have to do is just the run manager. Run manager. Calendars. Let's call that trading calendars. Wait, run manager. Get, no, list, no, Polygon, no, alpaca, trading client, list calendar async, new, calendar request, end. And we want to, can't use awaits, public async, task awaits, there we go. Can we shorten this? Can we add a helper? Partial class. Run. Static async task. I read only calendar. Get calendar async. Get trading calendars async. Turn awaits alpaca. Alpaca trading client. Alpaca. Do we have a property? Wrong. Namespace. Oops. This calendar is a new calendar request. Daily job. Let's shorten this up. It has to be internal. Access it here. Get. Perfect. Nice. So that's going to do exactly what we want. Strategy helper. What did I modify here? Is there a compare? Oh, just added that. Okay. All right. Sidetrack there. Okay, so now we are daily getting our calendar. I also want to add that here in our scheduling helper. And we want to schedule that job. Wait, scheduler. Schedule job, get job type of daily job, right? 2 parentheses, comma. Get trigger. And then we need a daily trigger here. Public constant. Daily, wherever. right? So what namespace was this? I added this to the runtime namespace. Why? Should be jobs. Okay. So we need to create a cron expression builder. Yeah, this is the one I want. So every second, no, not every second. Yeah, every second, every minute, every hour. Oh no, on the specific 0, 0. And we want it every day at what, 2? That's 1, 2. On the 2, every day, every month, every year. So at 2 a.m. Is that going to be it? I think that's every day at 2 a.m. We will update our calendars. Every day at 2 a.m. So now that should kick off and update our calendar every day at 2 a.m. And we can add anything else here that we would need to run daily. Okay, so now we have a calendar. Going back to our indicators. Got way off base. Now that we have a calendar, we need to be able to subtract from the calendar X amount of days based off of our period, right? So what does our trading calendar do? So run manager, trading calendars. So it's a list, right, of iCalendar. So what's an iCalendar? So I'm assuming first. Okay, it has the date. Oh, Eastern UTC open time. So it has the date and all that information there. So I think we need date UTC because I think Polygon's using UTC time. So can we subtract from a list of calendars X amount of days? I mean, if we sort that by yeah, we can create an extension, right? So we'll create an extension for that called, subtract trading days. And then we'll sort the trading calendar by the date descending, right? Date and time descending, probably. No, just date. We'll sort by date descending because we don't need the open and close doesn't matter. So date descending, and then we'll subtract our period, right? X amount of days, hours, minutes. So the days have to be calendars. Hours would be current UTC time minus hours. Minutes would be current UTC time minus minutes, and that would be our aggregation period that we would then start and end from at Polygon up until now. So I think that's fairly possible. Now it looks like we're running out of time here. Didn't notice, but we are. I'm gonna take a quick break, and actually I kind of want to implement that extension method still tonight. So I'll be right back in 5 minutes here, and then we'll continue until about 8:30 because I think I could write that up pretty quick. I just want to see what that's going to look like. So give me a moment here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back here. So I will actually implement that extension method probably under helpers, I would say. Or maybe just an extensions. Yeah, because it's not really a helper. It's, well, let's just add a new folder. Extensions. And then this will be for I would want to say probably data. Is it data? It's a model. It's an iCalendar. Let's just call it yeah, we can do data. That's fine. Public, static, class. So we'll create an extension method for that. And we'll just do public static. It's going to return a date time. Subtract trading days. This enumerable calendar. So from our trading calendar, we want to subtract days. Dates. Do we want a starting date? Or do we just want to assume? Let's just assume now, right? Oh, data time. Should be date time. All right, so subtract trading days. Okay, and we said we were going to take calendars, sort, order by, C dot trading dates, etc, order by descending, right? Dot index. We should be able to select index, right? Can we do that? They might already be sorted, but potentially. What is it? Index at. Can we select the index? As intersect. I know how to fix that. And we can index the day. Dot trading dates UTC. Is that going to do the right thing? Is it that easy that we can subtract the trading days? So we're sorting, descending on, no, trading, no, not trading close, trading dates, UTC. Trading date, UTC, converting that to an array, and we just index the amount of days. So starting at 0, so maybe we don't want the current day, we want to subtract from that days plus 1. And we should check index out of bounds. So yeah, then we return the value for date time equals UTC now. So if we have enough in our array, then we return that. I wonder what that's going to actually look like. We don't have to worry about other aggregation periods too much right now. This should be UTC. Since we're doing UTC time, we don't have to worry about like minute, hour, or anything else for this aggregation period unit, just because we are only working off of day at the moment. We throw an exception if we're not equal to day, so we'll implement that later, and we'll probably have a switch statement in here at some point that works off of the current aggregation period unit and then returns the correct from period. And I would say if it's anything less than day, actually, it would just be from yesterday to today, or we can just do today. Yeah, probably yesterday. So like UTC now minus 1 day would give us enough data points in history from now. Yeah, more than enough actually. Even if we're at like 12:01 a.m., we would need data points from the previous day. So, but I think this is going to work for now. This is going to give us pretty much what we need, as long as this actually does what we're thinking. I mean, from what it looks like, again, we're sorting on the trading date, and then we're just indexing up in the list X amount of days plus 1. 0 would be our current day if we're ordering on descending. No, this will not work. We need a starting point. And our starting point should be today. So we have to select, date, time, start equals null, start equals now, right? And then we want to select from here okay, so we sorted them, great, but that's probably going to give us how is this returned? Right, because I'm assuming we have future calendars as well in this list, right? I don't know if it's sorted already. Yeah, I would assume it is. Yeah, this might take longer than I expected. So we want to subtract days. I mean, we can just do we can just do today's date. We don't even have to sort it. We'll just select it where how do we get the index of today's calendar? So we sorted it to an array. Can we get the index of? Maybe we don't want it to an array. We want it to a list maybe? Index of needs a calendar item. Okay, so today. This might actually work. Select. No, where calendar trading dates starting calendar start dot date right? So is there a UTC date? Oh, it is. We're doing UTC time. Okay. Okay. So we now have the starting calendar. So we would want to get the index of, right? So int index of start, sorted calendars, index of starting calendar. I don't know if that's going to return an exception. Otherwise, -1. Okay, so it'll be -1. Should be able to find it, and it should only have one occurrence, right? Index plus, okay, so if it's greater than -1 and index of start plus days plus 1, right? Because we don't want the index, we want the days plus, okay. It's greater than, sorted, less than that length, so I'll count date time equals sorted calendars to array index trading UTC date. Is that gonna work? I don't know if that's gonna do the right thing still. Date time. Is that right? Okay, so we sort the calendars into a list. Then we get the starting calendar, and then we get the index of that calendar from the sorted calendars. And then as long as it is locating the index, we make sure that we're not out of bounds. Index start plus, right, because we want to go further down the list, the days that we're trying to subtract, and then +1 because we don't want to include our current day, because we need all the way up until today. But if we're doing daily close, we need yesterday's close. So we need 20 days, including yesterday's close, back. I think that's going to do the right thing. And then we convert it to an array. Select the index. Do we have to do? Can we do index at? Index, find index, last index of, does a list have an indexer? C# list indexer. Select item from list using index C#. Getting list item by, oh, you can use the indexer. Really? That easy. You don't have to convert it. So to a list actually works. And we can actually do, can we do that? Oh, dude, we don't have to convert it. I ordered enumerable. All right. Actually, you do have to do it to a list. Okay, well, that's fine. So we will never modify calendars. Order by descending. We're selecting the starting calendar. Then we're, I think this is going to work. Index of start. That is going to work. And this is not the right one. Trading date UTC equals start date, right? First item, getting the calendar, first or default. And we will specify this up here. And then as long as oops. Can that be nullable? I mean, it has to be in there, right? It has to have, no. What happens if today is not in the calendar list, right? Do we want to subtract a day? Start from there? So what if we're on Monday? We would only be doing this on trading days. So we want to change our daily job to only run during weekdays. But even so, if we're not a trading day in the calendar, it should return nothing and then won't be able to update correctly. We'll just say from now, and then our indicator won't be ready. I think that's fine. Right? Starting calendar is not null. I think that's going to work. Otherwise, we return now, and we don't have the correct trading days, or the start time to get the correct trading days. I think that's fine. And we don't need to update our indicators over the weekend. There's going to be nothing new. So let's change our daily job to, where was our expression builder? Here we go. So day, we only want to do specific days of the week. So we want to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't need to update this at 2 a.m. on the weekends. So we'll change this to weekdays. Weekdays, capital S. Do we need that? Weekdays at 2 a.m. Okay. And honestly, we can only connect during weekdays as well, right? The market won't be open otherwise. Every minute on weekdays. Every minute. Every weekdays, every minute at every minute. Don't need forever on there. Weekdays at every minute. Okay. So I think that'll work for the extensions. That I added it to the wrong namespace. Where's our base indicator? Okay. So I like that so far. I think that's going to give us the correct trading day from date. We will have to, what I want to do next is probably create a project for tests and start testing that just to make sure we're going to get the correct date time return from that. So we'll, do a subtract from trading days. We'll throw in, 20 days from today as a trading day and see what's actually returned. And if today is not a trading day, it should just return now. And we should get the wrong indicator period. Or just throw an exception maybe and catch it up in the base indicator update method. Probably want to wrap that anyways, but I will see. Maybe just catch the exception and log it. Or ignore it. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that. Let me add that to our to-do. Design. Let's add another one here. This is just for today. Partially done. Still need that. For to add test project for unit tests, specifically extensions, subtract. Okay. So that should be it. If you stayed till the end, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate the views. If you want to see more content, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.